Hello, everyone.
Hello,
How are you doing?
all good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm hungry. Why is this meeting always right before dinner?
Oh,
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcos.
hi.
Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Nice to meet you, Marcos.
I'm coming from, I'm a very close friend with Mauritius. I'm also Argentinian. And as you probably see, I'm working at Dagger.io. So, yeah, looking forward to contribute to this working group.
Yeah, thanks for
Nice.
joining.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so your presentation with Mauricio at KubeCon, that was really interesting.
Oh, thanks. You actually got to see it?
Yeah, hi Mauricio.
Hey, folks. How are you guys doing?
Hola,
Good to
Mauricio.
see
What's up?
Marcos.
Good to see you here.
Hello. Good. Give me a quick second. I just need to close some windows. Okay, I'm back. I can see that we are in the meeting notes. Yes, perfect. All right. Lian, do you have any should we start? What time is it? Like maybe waiting 2 more minutes?
Does anyone know whether Daniel's coming?
Daniel is coming after the first half an hour, and unfortunately, he has some conflicts.
It
And
depends on you. Yeah.
Yeah. So he asked us to just move forward for the first half an hour, and then he will join probably.
If you feel like you
Yeah.
have a lot of stuff that you absolutely need to go through, then let's start immediately. Otherwise, give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think that we can get it started, right? We have a couple of things I think that pending, but I wanted to make sure that Lian, you can cover your topics first, and then we will jump into the operational topics that we need to go through.
I only have a single topic, which is to congratulate you all on
Mhm.
officially being approved by the TOC. So, and that also means that they also approved you as the chairs.
Mhm.
So, hooray, congrats. I would love to I think it makes most sense to do like a meeting, half an hour
Mhm.
maybe, to walk you through administrative stuff, like where you need what your rights and responsibilities are, basically how to use the tools to create, for example, this meeting, all of those things. So the four of us, so Daniel, you, Thomas, me, should try and find some time next week, ideally, schedule
Okay.
a meeting. If that's possible.
Yep.
If not, then do it some other time. But then I will also not always come to these meetings anymore. And I trust that you are able to like take care of everything. Obviously, if you need help, if you have any questions, you can always check in with me or one of the other chairs or tech leads.
Perfect.
And then, yeah, so I know you know, because I said it, but probably good to reiterate. We have a meeting with the tag leadership and the working group leads. And we would like if one person from each working group could come to that. It doesn't have to be one of you. It can be anyone who's in this group and interested and wants to help. Just so we make sure that, because I'm not always going to be here, just so we make sure that everything's going well, you're not stuck. If you need any help or if you want to work with other working groups together on something, that would probably be a good place to do it. So just keep that in mind. Maybe remind people of that there's the option that they can join the leads meeting if they want to as a liaison from this group.
Is that once a month?
Yes, it's once a month, and the next meeting is 24th of June. So it's always the Monday, 6 p.m. Central European time.
Mhm.
But we sometimes move it if it's more convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Apologies
helpful. It's
for-
not that's okay.
Uh,
It's not obligatory per se, but I think it makes it much easier especially for us to keep the tag as a whole kind of in sync. And there's obviously always gonna be some overlap between working groups, so it makes sense to share a little bit.
Yeah, I think that we should join that meeting at some point just to present the working group, right? At least just to introduce what we're doing and say hello to everyone.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Unfortunately, last time we couldn't, like, any of us
Yeah,
couldn't
it was
join.
really
It was like
unfortunate.
holidays here. It was holiday in Denmark too, right? Like, I don't know what happened, but it was a Monday where like nobody was around, basically.
I mean, Europe has a lot of holidays, so
That's true. That's true.
what was it? It was the 27th
Yeah, but I'm sure we can join.
of May. Yeah. In any case, as I said, like you can just put it on your agenda if you're like, oh, I can't make it, maybe ping the working group. Just like, hey, can someone go and check this out for us? If not, then it doesn't work out. We're all doing this voluntarily, so I totally understand if you can't make all the meetings that exist.
Makes sense.
And I think that's it. Yeah. There's an issue open to add you all to all the GitHub stuff and everything, but we can,
I think that there was another point there about like a blog post for CNCF. Who needs to write that? Should we need to write that?
Yeah, so I added that point to the agenda.
Okay.
Because we talked about it last time. Also, maybe to try the ambassador channel to get it, published. I think a bit in an easier way. I don't know. Do we want to do it? I think it would be nice to announce it publicly because so far, like we were waiting for the official approval, but now everything is officially approved. So also to recruit more people and share what
I think you can absolutely do that. I don't know if any working group has ever been announced on our blog, but like for our blog, definitely. For the CNCF blog, I think we can make that happen as well. I'm not quite sure. There are some rules, but you're also ambassadors, so you could even use your like you have a couple of blog posts per quarter or something, right? So
yeah, that's
if you're not using them, you could use them. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure projects get that as well. So yeah, sure we can do that.
So quick question about that, like about announcing and promoting this. I am just curious, like for example, like are we going to have our own part, like our own section in the website, right?
Yes. So okay, let me since we're just talking about this now, I'm going to share my screen and then you can just ask all the questions.
Yeah, for me, I think this is important to have you here because we can ask you about all these things that we cannot resolve on our own.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. So every working group has the section where and everything under this space you own it. Well, you own it to a specific extent. Like the website is owned by tag leadership, so everything still needs to go through our approval. But we're just making sure that it like is okay. Let me see. So the platforms working group, for example, they have the white paper here. The artifacts working group only has their charter. That's totally fine. But anything like these are all deliverables from the working group, like the white papers, the maturity model, right? So that can be an idea that your deliverables in part are things on the website. We have the blog, which is mostly community blog posts. So these are just people from the community who submitted a blog post to the GitHub repository, and then we tag them as community contribution. But we also have like more operational stuff, like announcing a white paper or something. So if you write a blog post about platforms, app development working group, then we could also do that and give you this tag, which totally makes sense.
Perfect.
Yeah, what else? We have a LinkedIn account. that every working group lead can use to promote things. It's not used very much, but I mean, you can absolutely just we trust you to use it responsibly. And I think we have a Twitter account as well, which same thing. I'm not sure it's being used a lot.
Mm.
But
I don't know, like
yeah.
for me, all these things are super important, like on our way to KubeCon, right? We want to make sure that we use these things just to advertise what we're doing, and also just to make sure that we invite more people to join. You know, so far we have been inviting, like handpicking people to invite, but like now I think that we should open it to any contributor.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so the way that it works is that we just give you access, and then we trust that you're being responsible, and like the blog we do still like review and approve, but if you want to post anything to LinkedIn to promote your blog post, that's totally fine. Just do it.
Perfect.
And yeah, don't have to ask for permission.
So
yeah.
Thomas, so should we create an action to create that blog post? I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I
that.
can note it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel free to create a GitHub issue. You will get write access to the app delivery repository. And I think that's it. There's no, like, we have projects, but we're not really using, like, I'm not really using it. I don't know if anyone's really using it actually, but yeah,
Perfect.
just issues and then, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
and I think
there's
that
also
even if we create like a short blog post will help now, right now. Like I'm not thinking about a very long thing. It's just a short thing announcing it and just calling people to come to the meetings basically.
Yeah, just like, hey, just like note that we exist now. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then where they just direct them to where they can go if they're interested in collaborating, which is probably this Slack channel.
Perfect.
Also, this would be something that would help us a lot. Is there's a GitHub issue. It's I posted it into the delivery working group chairs group with all the administrative stuff that needs to be documented. So since you're like new, it really helps to get your perspective. Anything that you're missing, you're like, I don't understand how this works, or I don't know how I can do this. Put it in that issue. I'm gonna link it here as well.
Yeah, where's the issue?
But it's also in the
That's
channel.
good.
Okay, cool.
It's in the channel?
So just anything that you come across, just put it in there. Just throw it in there as a comment, and that's fine. And then we have a documenter that we need to document it.
Perfect.
And I think that's it from me. I think that's all topics I have.
Perfect. That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yeah, and about the meeting next week to go through the administrative stuff, I'm available. How about you, Mauricio?
I'm going to be in Barcelona next week since Wednesday, so I can do Tuesday maybe or Monday. What about you, Leon?
I
you
can
make it?
do Monday and Tuesdays in the afternoon, let's say before 5 p.m. And yeah, it's probably okay if like one or two of you can do it, and then we either record it or I don't know. Like it's not that complicated. It just makes sense to do it in a meeting rather than sending each other like 2 million messages because can get a little bit in there. So we can try Monday, Tuesday before 5 p.m. That's fine with me.
Yeah, definitely. Can we? Yeah, we should probably book it, right?
Yeah, if we
Let's
can
see.
book it right now, we should book it right now. That makes sense.
Sounds good. I am happy to send an invite. Let me try Tuesday. Let's see Tuesday this time. So it's the CNCF up, the working group. I don't know, Leanne, if I have your email.
It's
Yeah, I
hi
think that
at leanmakes-things.dev or Leanne makes things that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I have that one, and then I have
Yeah, that one
Daniel,
works.
and I have you, Thomas, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay. Let me send you that. Please check if you get it. Should I like put it like half an hour? Is that okay?
I think that's enough. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Good stuff. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's in the calendar. Thomas, please check if you get that so we can
Yes.
confirm. And I need. What's the one? Okay, perfect. Mhm.
Yeah, I got it.
Great. All right. Good. So we're doing that. And what else? Okay. Leanne, I think that's great. I mean, the next, I guess, we have that topic of still reviewing kind of like the charter PR. And yeah, now we have like, I think that we have Ryan and Marcos here. Maybe what I was thinking to do is just to probably share the document that we have, and we will wait until Daniel is here to review the pull request. What do you think, Thomas? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because we definitely need Daniel to just to finish that pull request that's still open. And yeah.
Yeah, we
after
have
that,
a
like,
couple of comments pending. Yeah, we can talk about that later.
yeah, we can talk about that like when he joins, if he joins later on. But yeah, let me share my screen if I can. And I know, Ryan, you have the link to the document already. Let me share it here in the chat so Marcos can access to it. And Marcos, this is kind of like what we have been working kind of like on the last few weeks. It's just a document for describing kind of like one of the working group deliverables.
Awesome, thanks.
Just to give you a bit of context. Okay, so there has been a lot of activities in this document. Remember, the idea was to start like looking into a classification way or a mechanism for talking about projects in the CNCF that has the developer persona in one way or another. And that took us into a path of defining which kind of projects are we going to be looking into. We decided to filter a bunch of projects to start with a small subgroup and then start going larger the more we cover and the more we figure out the right strategy to classify these things and to explain how these projects benefit developers in their day-to-day tasks. In order to do that, we created kind of like this list of activities. I don't know, folks, if you have time to review this. I know that Daniel like added a bunch of things here, and there are still kind of like some comments from Thomas as well. I tried to resolve some of them. I couldn't resolve all of them, so we need some kind of agreement here. But I think that these categories are quite okay right now. Like for me, at least, like in my head, they make sense. Like architecture, planning and collaboration, coding, testing, debugging and troubleshooting, and then building. This one is a little bit more tricky, building and running applications locally. In general, like very big and broad. I think that this kind of makes sense. And then the other thing that we did is we tried to create these kind of like questions. I also tried to resolve some of the comments in this section just to make it a little bit more clear and remove all the ones that are a little bit more confusing and are not as well specified. And then just had some examples here. And I've been thinking quite a lot on a list of projects that when I look into the CNCF landscape will make sense to cover using these tools. I'm really interested, for hearing from the group and when we invite more people to figure out which other questions can we use to classify projects, right? And again, always from a developer perspective of how does this tool impact like a developer, in which activity a developer would use this tool and for doing what exactly and how often. These are kind of like the questions. There are some more like fussy questions about like principles and best practices that it gets complicated to explain if we don't have a good list of cloud-native principles and best practices, right? So if we have a list, we should try to add that list here so people like answering these questions becomes a little bit easier per project. I haven't seen any suggestion here on the ones that I use as example. not fully 100% convinced that this is the way, but at least it feels that it can give us kind of like the initial, the initial iteration. And I totally see us creating, some kind of like cards at least, or even like decorating the existing landscape with this information in a condensed way, right? For KubeCon, remember that KubeCon is coming so fast. I totally see us asking for some advice on how to represent this information. Let's say that we pick 10 of these projects, and then we create 10 different cards when we say, this card explains basically how cloud events, impact developers, and in which situations developers will need to learn about cloud events, and in which situations developers will benefit from cloud events. I created here a comment, and I think that this was pretty new. Like, yeah, I did this morning. So I'm thinking about which projects we should pick. 10 is for me a good number. And yeah, I just had a list of things there based on the filter that we proposed at the beginning of the document. Please check it out. And, I'm happy to remove projects from this list, add other projects, or talk about different topics. But when I look at the landscape, these are the top 10 things that, said to me like developer. A developer at some point will be talking about these things. Or sometimes there are things like maybe open feature, like developers don't know that open feature exists and they actually can use something like this. So our task should be to talk about this and try to explain developers, how can they benefit from this project. Any comments, additions? Oh, we have Daniel here. Hey, Daniel.
Hey guys, yeah, sorry for the late due to just some conflict stuff. Yeah, that's cool. And then, also I'm recently really thinking of like an AI space as well, because the AI we cannot ignore that, and everybody is doing AI, regardless of developer, architect, platform engineer, and even C-levels. So maybe not first phase, maybe we're gonna really think about what kind of tools, what kind of like a use cases the developer actually needed to learn or interested in as a part of working group, like a deliverables or some of the interesting topic here. So a little bit just came on my mind like a couple of days ago, because when I tried to read some blog posts and then some kind of tutorial videos, and then everybody actually try to make their existing application like infuse AI capabilities. So even if not just chatbot box, but still okay, how to make it better my application with the AI powered, AI infused, or AI like some capability stuff. So because we already need to like some chase trend.
Yeah. Thomas, any comments? You are also in the AI space nowadays. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a use case.
Concerto.
I guess that it will. Yeah, I wonder if tools in that space will still go in one of the categories or phases that are there in the document. So I don't know if we need something specific for that.
So I think that what we need is maybe a white paper,
something
right?
to consider.
Yeah, maybe having a white paper around that, like about like which tools affect each activities, kind of like in the developer lifecycle, like in the inner loop, like which tools actually are designed for that. But again, that will take us to like in the second iteration where we have this a little bit more well-defined. I still believe that we don't need to spend time defining this deeply, but just making sure that we have the right references to point people to, to read about this stuff. It's like we need to have references and maybe our take on which of these phases makes sense for this group to cover. And that alone feels like a lot of work that we need to start doing right now in order to be able to complement that with, with the previous questions.
Sounds good.
Good. Ryan, I remember that that we asked you about like Microsoft and these kind of definitions. I know that this is the Red Hat way of doing it. I'm really curious to see if Microsoft has a different thing. And Daniel, the same. If you have links to support this or like a link where this is explained, that would be awesome. Something that we can use as public references.
Yeah, let me try to find out. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Ours are very similar, but kind of different. So I think the documents that I could find internal to Microsoft mostly say the same thing. I think
Okay.
for inner loop for us, I'm just highlighting some differences. So ours typically have 3 loops. There's an inner loop, an outer loop, and like a production loop or a troubleshooting loop, it's usually called. And it makes it clear that you move between the 3, right? So like if you find an issue in production, you move to an inner loop to work on the fix. So some of the very small differences between these are like inner loop at Microsoft is the phase where you're just working on the code. It doesn't usually include things like CI or pushing or reviewing a PR. That is more of the outer loop. And outer loop is more defined as like testing with dependencies, running integration tests, like testing in a preview environment or a local Kubernetes cluster. But like you're not running in a debugger is the point. You're relying on offline diagnostics. So I think that view is very compatible with everything that we've seen. It's just which terminology we want to use and where do we draw the lines.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I don't think that we need to define our own. Like we probably need to look at both and then just write something that it's kind of like in the middle and it kind of just covers the basics in each of these things. I'm pretty sure that we cannot cover everything, even like everything that it's in this diagram, but at least we need to be able to say, when we talk about inner loop, we are talking about these activities. When we are talking about like outer loop, this is what you are expected to do. Good. And folks, of course, I will appreciate help on this. If you have time, just drop comments, add whatever text you think that it's important here, because this is all like community driven and we need reviews, right? Like somebody needs to create something and somebody will end up reviewing it. I am trying to push a lot of stuff here. When I have any time, I just go and write a paragraph about these things. And then, comments are appreciated. But if you want to start writing stuff, please go ahead. Don't be shy.
Should we have an action on that? Maybe just to prioritize the work in the document, like for next time, maybe to look more into the phases that you showed at the beginning of the document and also the relation with the inner loop. So maybe trying to come up with some definition, and the next meeting we can maybe try to draft like our definition and maybe trying to, I don't know, kind of stabilize also the phases so that once we go past that stage, then we can maybe focus more on the tools and examples that are on the other pages, just to have some some good foundation for next time.
I think that makes sense, because for me, what it does, and then kind of like, I think that there are 2 options. That is one, and the other one is trying to figure out kind of like an initial list of projects. But it doesn't make sense to go over the entire list if we don't have kind of like the questions right and the activities right, because we will be using this terminology in answering these questions, right? So we just need to first iterate and then just double check. Yes, Lian.
So what you can do in terms of getting community support, could you go to the CNCF website, the Tag App Delivery website? So it's tag-app delivery. Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah. So if you go to contribute and then projects, you can see that the platforms working group, they have this project where they're asking for examples that they can use then to further define their platform maturity model. And that's something that you could also do. I know for sure that people are looking at the website and they also look at these pages. So just keep it. So you could, create a pull request with a project like this to ask for contributions, to put it on the website. Just keep in mind that this makes sense for longer running things. So if you're planning to, if you need help like immediately, this is maybe not the best, but if it's okay, if it comes in like half a year from now, then like if it's continuous, then this might be a good place for you to ask for contributions.
Yeah, makes total sense. For me, we need the page here first, right? That's the first thing that we need. Is like we are still kind of doing bootstrap work. And I think that what are we doing now, like on the documents and on these things, is much more asking for people that we know, that they know about these topics, right? And that's why I invited Marcos to come here, because I know that he has a lot of experience in this. He comes from maybe a different background too, but I know that someone looking at this can help us to say, well, what about this? What about this other thing? What about like this terminology here? This doesn't make sense to me with the background that I'm coming here. So I will ask, Thomas, Daniel, Ryan, and even Marcos now, just to invite more people that it's in this space to help us shape this. And then when we find, as you mentioned, like more long running things, we can ask for help, kind of like by creating a page. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Do you have the sorry, the charter proposal? So basically, what I'm waiting for
Yes.
this pull request to be ready,
Yes.
and then be merged. And once that is done, I will take the charter and put it on the website. Or you can also create the pull request yourself to put it on the website, however you want.
Yeah.
But basically, that is for me, that's the blocker that's keeping the working group to be officially on the website.
So maybe let's go and sort that out. Because
that's
now
in the
Daniel
agenda
is
also,
here.
I think.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Daniel is here.
Yeah,
and I
so
think that,
just to wrap this up, so I updated the
Yes.
notes in the meeting notes document with the link to that examples page. I think that would be really useful. Noted down that, these 2 points about the development workflow phases, and what we mean by inner loop inner loop, outer loop, that part. Yeah.
Cool.
Makes sense. And Daniel, we were waiting for you to check basically the pull request. We just need to get this done. Because we didn't do it while we were in Barcelona. Unfortunately, it was pretty busy. We barely met the 3 of us together at the same time. It was pretty hard. So yeah, let's get this done so we can move things forward. Because now that the group is approved, like this is the next step for sure.
Okay.
Let me refresh this. Let's see if this is the last version. And I know that it was that much. Like we had like maybe 2 questions that we need to answer. Let me see.
So there's one, and I think it's a matter of adding the text to the pull request. If you scroll a bit up, the third to last comment. No, this one. You want to both? Daniel replied.
Once you feel like you've done this, can you just resolve the conversation? That to me, that just makes it easier to keep overview of like, okay, this has been taken care of and it's done now.
Perfect.
Well, this one we can already.
You can just apply here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that.
And resolve conversation. Or maybe not that one.
Not that one.
Maybe it did it automatically.
I think it does it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that GitHub does almost everything for you now, so it's literally just
that's nice.
Good stuff. In addition to defining best practices, Yeah,
so we have the new version from Daniel a bit below. So I guess we need to add that in the document.
This one, right? Okay. Best practices should actively advocate for open source tools and enable frictionless integration between them. Other teams to build custom interfaces. Thomas, are you okay with that?
Yeah. We also discussed last time where there was some syntax issues, so it wasn't really clear what we were trying to say. So with this rephrasing, it makes much more sense.
Good stuff. And for that, we need to add this into the pull request, which I think that I can do it here from the UI, or I can do it from my fork, I would assume, right? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let me do this. Most of the time, I will not do it from the UI, but while I have you here, I would rather see if I can just get this done. So the text that we're trying to change is this one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in addition.
Yep.
This one. So it's the entire paragraph.
Yep.
Yeah.
I replaced. Okay.
Here. Thank you very much, Daniel, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Open source.
Yeah, we don't use hyphen. Yeah, we don't use hyphen.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. That's good. Grammarly, stop correcting me. I think that's one. Let me check if we have the other, like the other change also requires something here. Using interfaces and tasks. Oh, okay. So this one was the one about like the in scope, out of scope stuff, right?
Yeah.
That we need
Yeah.
to solve.
To change
Yeah, and last time we
to
talked about having that
Mhm.
part up in the what's in scope, but also keeping something in out of scope with the details about, like basically keeping both.
So, but what
So-
she's suggesting is that we should move this to in scope,
Mhm.
right? Like this should be in scope and have
Yeah.
something out of the scope too, right?
Yeah, so that sentence suggested there, we can put it in scope. That's fine.
Okay, let me check. I think that I agree with that. So areas in scope.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, so here.
and you can also
Okay,
add the other
nice.
one because the two remaining comments are the same thing. So you can also add the other bullet point from the other
yeah,
comment.
you need to delete it, the promo, that thing
On
from
the-
out of scope.
Yes.
The last one. Yeah, last bullet point.
The
So
last
should
two.
we keep a version of that? Maybe.
Your
Do we need a version of it?
sustainability. Last one, not that one. The last bullet point. Yeah, you need to delete it because we just move up to in scope. Does it make sense that we can have same bullet point in both in scope and out of scope, which is totally doesn't make sense.
No,
I don't-
like not
Yeah.
the same. Like I would convert this not to promote, but like I don't know,
Create or
to
something.
specify that we
Yeah.
don't want to dive deep into secure coding standards and vulnerability scanning strategies to mitigate risk. Like those examples, I think are good out of scope thing. So while
Mhm.
it's in scope to advocate for secure development, we don't want to go in depth into how
And create,
to
right?
do secure software because that's too much out of scope. Does it make sense to have that specification, or we can just remove it altogether and fine also with that?
I would vote for removing it just to make it not confusing because again, we are
Okay.
not delivering anything. We are just advocating for it, right?
Yeah.
We
Okay,
are
so
not
maybe
saying
that
that we're going to deliver
clarifies
stuff.
it's advocating. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are two different things. One is sustainability. Did we have a comment about that too, right?
Yeah, it's the same. So we can remove those two bullet points and then have also sustainability, like
As an
the
advocate.
suggestion
advocacy.
also added in the scope. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a phrase proposed for sustainability or not?
Yes, it's in the other comment in the pull request.
Okay, let me copy it from there then. This one, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, there you go. So
Go up the in
And I
scope.
wonder,
this one. Yep.
yeah, I wonder, like considering what Daniel also mentioned earlier, should we also have some kind of contact with the AI working group?
Yes. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's a little bit promoting. I
If
think
it's
that
still
we are
about
covering it
advocate,
here, right? Well, so yeah, it's so like it's a different group, working group, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's a
What do you
working
think,
group.
Daniel?
It's not a tag, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
Do we
work-
have AI working group or some specific
Not
group?
here. Yeah. There was
I
something, right?
think there
Yeah,
was an
this one.
AI discussion about an AI tag also. There is definitely an AI working group in the runtime thing, but I don't,
Mhm.
yeah, that might be the one that you want
Tag
to talk
runtime,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's part of the runtime tag.
Mm-hmm. It does get confusing at some point. Like I'm getting lost across working groups and tags, but yeah, that's
I
the
would-
whole point of.
But I would expect you to also,
Yeah.
It might make sense for you to know the runtime people because I feel like there
Yes.
probably is some overlap.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
just take
so
this as
let's-
one first example to get into contact, and then it doesn't have to be like a huge thing, but just like keep in touch.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But I feel that we need to add it here then, right? But this sounds like that it's a little bit more than advocate, right? It's like work or something like that.
Yeah,
It should be more
sound
like a
fair.
closer
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah, sound fair. Advocate for AI infused application development practices, something like that.
Yeah. Advocate. Is it advocate or it's more like yeah. Hmm. That's
Support.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be most like, yeah, I'm thinking more like on the research, like more that like doing that kind of work. It's more researching and interacting with, you know, the tag runtime and AI working groups. Yeah, maybe like maybe collaborate. Maybe something much more specific.
I don't know, so collaboration is required or not.
True.
Yeah, we could reach out to them like a in touch base, but
I guess
Yeah.
maybe the word that they're looking for is alignment, Mauricio. You want to be aligned on what
Yeah.
the other working groups, especially the AI, are doing.
Yeah, but they're just writing kind of like white papers on all this stuff. I mean, I think that yeah, that might be the direction.
Yeah, I like align. Maybe we could say align
Yeah.
AI infused application development practices with the work from the AI working group. I don't know. Could that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the ideas around that.
Yeah. I think I get the idea. Just I don't know how to phrase it because I kind of like have a yeah, I know how it should go. The question is like the phrasing.
Just
let's
put it in
say,
a bullet, and then you can think about the phrase.
Yeah.
It's basically alignment between this working group and the AI working group as well.
Yeah. That's where that applies with the other two, right? Like the sustainability and the secure one. So it's nothing specific with AI working group in this case. Or do we have something specific that we want to do with that working group that doesn't have to do with secure and sustainability either?
It doesn't seem like there needs to be something specific, at least in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's more about like, yeah, align, search how. Let me write something. How practices can be used by AI tooling. The runtime, something like that. Any
Yeah,
comments
maybe.
about that? Yeah.
Yeah, so if we phrase it like that, then it means something like Copilot, because it's AI
Yes.
tooling for development practices. But I guess we want we want it for application development.
Yeah. Okay. So how application development practices? It's like, is that application development practices and tools AI can be infused by AI? Can be expanded by AI?
so
How about
infuse
align and research?
Yeah, infuse means so it's a literally AI application rather than just consume AI platform like a ChatGPT or a Copilot. So for example, you already have existing enterprise application in your company, and then you need to add some AI capability, for example, chatbot box or RAG processing or some of your own AI model training with your application, with your own runtime. Could be Java, could be Python, could be JavaScript. So that is infused meaning. So I heard more and more developers are interested in learning something practice how to make my existing application with the integration AI capability rather than just to connect to OpenAI or Hugging Face. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of right now, but it's still very early stage to get there. So rather than just using Copilot or JetBrains AI assistant on your code generation. that's a very
Yeah.
small part of the AI practices for application developers right now.
So what you're saying is like, and what I'm hearing Thomas saying is also that like it's not about the practices, it's about like, yeah, the so the activities, right? What we were saying before,
Yeah,
how can
the
AI
application
tools,
development.
yeah, application development basically. So yeah,
Yeah, I wrote a
Sounds good.
suggestion in the chat. I don't know if that works.
let me see
Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah.
this one. Okay. Let's see, align and research practices for AI-infused application development. Yeah, makes sense. By collaborating there, right? By collaborating with the Tagaran runtime API. That's good. I'm happy with that. Perfect. Do we have any more things? I think that's pretty much it. I remember there were like only 3 things that we were left to do.
Yeah. I think so.
I can
Yeah, I
push
think
this.
that
We are
was
ready
it.
to go. Yeah.
Let me commit this. This is my thing, I think. Yeah. Let's do it. And let's see if this now, if we can resolve the conversations here. Yeah, I did it. So we can resolve this. Next. So conversation. Next. Perfect.
Yeah, so maybe we're ready for the final review.
Yes. Something is already failing, which is not super fun. But I will check that
It's
later.
the code owner review, and then maybe the
Almost done.
and I'm not
think
gonna
that
review
all
it right now.
that's all right. That's all right. But at least we want to make sure that you are not blocked, right? Because we were blocking
Yeah,
the
yeah,
VPs.
no. There's this GitHub action to make sure that we have translation, or that we are aware of translations. There's nothing you have to worry about. And that's the only thing that failed. But it's not blocking,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Perfect. And then we
Cool.
can all translate like I can do Spanish. I know that Thomas can do Italian. And any other languages are more than welcome.
Sure.
I can help with Portuguese as well.
Feel free to do that.
Sorry, what?
What we do need though is we need a second fairly well fluent speaker to review the translations.
Yes.
And we need at least 2 people to review that. It's fine.
Makes
But
sense.
like don't worry about it for now. For now everything's fine.
Perfect.
So I will make sure to have this ready by Tuesday when we have our meeting.
So are we having our next meeting on Tuesday? So when is the next working group meeting? Because we need to set that up, right?
Well, what I was hoping to do is I give you all the rights to do that, and we do it together on Tuesday. So you've seen how to do it, and then from then on you can do it yourself.
That'll be great.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that sounds
initially we
great.
should be aiming for 2 weeks from now, right? Like today is the 6th, so we need to be able
The
to do it.
20th of
Yes,
June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's discuss it next week.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
got one question before we finish
Yes.
that. So since we approved our working group officially by tag, and then so can we create a pull request directly to create a new folder in the tag
Yes.
daily poll? So are you gonna do that, Mauricio, or should
Yep.
we ask for like
Yep.
a VN to do that, or?
I mean, you ask for that by doing the pull request, right?
Okay, sounds good. So
Yeah.
it's time to create
So
a pull
that's-
request. So can you do
Yeah.
that right now, just before that chatter is merged, or should we waiting for the chatter pull request merge first? Can you do
I
that
think the
first?
charter is creating, the charter is inside the directory,
I think it's creating a folder already. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, really? Because when I check it out this morning, but I don't see that.
Well, let me
Let me
see.
see.
I'm actually looking at.
Oh yeah, there's a new folder, app development.
Yeah, app
WG.
development.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's all under there. So that would add the folder, obviously, as well.
app development. Am I looking at some wrong Gilipo.
Let me share my screen.
Wait,
I can share my screen.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that would be great. And you put
Yeah,
in the
because it's
chat the
here.
URL link.
Can you see this?
Oh, okay. So I thought I need to create a separate pull request to create that folder, but this pull request already includes that folder as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah,
thanks
it
for
doesn't do
clarification.
anything for the website though. This is just the documentation level.
All right. Okay.
And then the
So
website is somewhere here, right? Like, so for the website,
yes.
we need something similar, but here, right?
Okay.
Yes, you can basically, the easiest is probably just to go to VG artifacts and copy paste from there more or less, because they don't
Okay.
have a lot on, they just have the charter. So that's
Uh-huh.
the kind of the skeleton that you could also use.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where is that? Where should that be?
I
Here,
think,
space?
oh, what I also did actually, I think I also
Yeah.
created, this is Hugo. I don't know if you ever used Hugo
Yeah.
before, any of you? Okay, so
No,
I
but it
think
shouldn't be that hard.
No, it's a static sites generator. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I think I created an working groups artifacts at some point yeah, actually I did. So you can just
Okay.
use that command and it should spin up everything that the working group needs for the website. I'm posting the link here. It's in the README. So if you go to website and then you
Website
check the
README. Oh, okay.
README, there's like create new working group or create new working group. So it's just Hugo new WGS and then the name of your working group. And that should work. If it doesn't work, let me know. Maybe it only works when you're running in a container, or it only works when you're not running in a container. I'm not quite sure. But that should be the workflow. And if it's not, then you can put it either in the issue that I sent you earlier, the let's document all the
Yep.
processes issue, or message me and I'll put it in the issue.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So this should be the way of creating a new website, like our new page there. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, for the working group. It's just so everything's already there and filled out, but if you just copy paste from artifacts, it also works. It just is just making it slightly easier.
Perfect. Awesome.
But it should be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And if
Fun
you
stuff.
want to like create the pull request yourself, if you're like excited about it now, just do it. Then I don't have to do it. That's even better.
Yep. Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you, Marcos, for joining.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Folks,
good
thank
rest
you.
of the day. Bye-bye.
See you next time. See you.
Bye.
Bye.